right, then. So Mike James speaking with some residents in Abule Egba to find out if they have an idea of this initiative. Probably before the end of the program, we might see if we can still get more respondents and see if we can also hit areas like Ikwaja to also hear from them. But let me bring my guests. They've been around for quite a while. Dr. Oluyinka Abiodun Olumide is a Honorable Commissioner Physical Planning and Urban Development Ministry right here in Lagos State. Dr. Oluyinka Olumide, nice to have you in the building. Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much.
And you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, he's been joined by Dr. Olajide Abiodun Babatunde, who is the Special Advisor to the Governor on EGIS and Urban Development. Dr. Babatunde, nice to have you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It's a second time coming on the program.
It is, and it's nice to be back here.
Wonderful. All right, Honorable Commissioner, this is Traffic Radio. It's your first time of being here, right?
Yes, thank you.
Do you listen to us?
Of course.
And what do you make of Traffic Radio?
Very great.
Especially with the cameras by your left.
Yeah.
All right. Honorable Commissioner, we will still come to the amnesty and plumbing permit issue. But let's begin by, demystifying some concepts as it relates to your ministry. Give us an insight into your ministry, by the way, and the broad mandate it carries in the realization of Governor Sanwo-Olu's Themes Plus agenda.
Thank you very much. Good morning, fellow Lagosians. Very simple. The ministry, as the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, is set up basically for physical structures, planning organization of physical structures in Lagos State. And you have, although a lot of people see us basically as a ministry saddled with that responsibility of building plan permit approval. That is just one of several other functions that we perform. We have agencies and departments under the ministry saddled with the responsibility of, if you are cognizant of recent, we have some model city plans that are currently ongoing, interfacing with the public,
right,
trying to get their reaction into the plans we are making, the new plans we are making for the next period of 20 years. For example, you have Lagos Island Model City Plan that we are engaging the stakeholders and are trying to get reaction from them in terms of this is the way we are looking to plan this city,
right,
what are their inputs. We also have the Alimosho Model City Plan that is also ongoing. So that is one which is handled by the R&D department. We also have the development matters that is saddled with the responsibility of large layouts approval. I mean, for people that have families that have large lands who wants to dispose them within their home confines, there is a need for them to have the layout fully defined.
Right.
So we have that department that undertakes that. And we have the agencies that are also responsible for the planning permit, which is LASPA.
Right.
And they handles physical building development permits.
Okay.
And that is the one that
we're going to be talking a whole lot about this.
exactly, because the interface is more with the public.
Right, so we'll come to that, Honorable Commissioner, we'll still come to that. But let me just switch to Dr. Olajide Babatunde. Would you hear of EGIS? It's very much on the lips of people these days, and you are the advisor to the governor on EGIS and urban development. What does EGIS mean, and of what significance is it to the developmental equation of Lagos?
Thank you very much. Good morning, Lagosians. Just as you have listened to the Honorable Commissioner, everything that we do in spatial form, the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, has the mandate to anchor those things. Okay. Because, the art and science of arranging the land and location of buildings, and lines of communications falls within the mandate of the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development.
Right.
When I was here the last time, I told you that this kind of program, this amnesty program will come.
Right.
And I was explaining to you that we have a number of platforms, where I told you any good land information system is transparent, and then it has to be automated and computerized.
Right.
So through the EGIS, so there's EGIS across the state.
So EGIS meaning what? What does it mean?
It means Enterprise Geographic Information Service.
Ooh.
That service is being provided to all the MDAs within and around Lagos.
Wow.
You know, when I say around, you know, because some of our services have extended, you know, beyond our boundaries, because we need to make sure that the adjoining uses and structures that we have along our boundaries are also captured. So I told you then that we're flying an aircraft to do the mapping of the entire state. To have any computerized land cadastral, all land must be mapped and surveyed. When you map the land and you survey the land, the next thing is you plan the land. And to do that planning has to be done by the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, particularly through a department that is called the Department of Regional and Master Plan.
Right.
And those regional master plans that have been done up to the lower order plans, you have been maintained by LASPA, which is the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority, and LAPCA, which is the Lagos State Building Control Agency.
Right.
So what we have done is we are automating all our processes. So the EGIS inside physical planning is in 2 legs. So we have what you call the electronic physical planning process system, which is ongoing. We will launch that very soon. And then we also have the Lagos State Planning Information Center, Information Center, which is LASPIC. In LASPIC, we have an archive of all the approvals that have been issued in Lagos. You know, that is what it was set up for. It's not yet to Ray, but you know, I was just discussing with the Honorable Commissioner outside just to make sure that we have completeness of record. Because the moment the Commissioner rules out what the amnesty is about, you know, something, you know, all those approvals will be archived in LASPIC, which means that even somebody who wants to deal with Lasrera, and now even just going out of physical planning, who wants to deal with Lasrera, who is renting a property, he needs to be sure, or she needs to be sure that that property is approved. The only way you can find out is to go to our LASPIC portal, pull out the approval number before you go and rent the house. Because if you rent the house and we demolish the house, simply because it's on the right of way or on the water line. So, I mean, never again will people not have complete and good information about our environment.
So this is all about planning and execution, so to say. All right, so how many agencies and departments do we have under the ministry, Honorable Commissioner?
Thank you very much. We have 5 departments and 4 agencies under the ministries. Now the agencies are, you have LASPA, which is saddled with responsibility of planning permit approval. You have LAPSCA, which is saddled with the responsibility of building control. And you have LASURA, which is saddled with the responsibility of urban regeneration and renewal. And of recent, you have ASPEMA, which is saddled with the management of incidental open spaces. Now for the agencies, you have development matters, which handles large layouts.
That's for the department, right?
Yes, for the department. Then you have the regional master plan that handles the city plans from the higher order to the lower order plans. Then you also have
the physical planning.
You have physical planning and automation, like the NC rightly said. I mean, the way the world is tending now is electronically. We're trying to get to a situation whereby you need to get your approval. Once all your documents are complete, you can do it at the comfort of your home or your offices. That's the whole idea of about this EGIS, the electronic process of approval. And of recent, we also did land automation in Lagos. So in Lagos now, I can tell you that it's almost about the only one in Africa where you can get real detail of all land in Lagos.
All lands in Lagos?
Yes.
Any part of Lagos?
Any part of Lagos.
If I want to
from the source,
you mean
the very first time that it was allocated.
You mean it?
How the transaction has gone.
Okay.
They have all the details now captured. So you can go in there and know the true owner of a particular plot. You need to.
Honorable Commissioner, let me try that knowledge. So you mean if I want to have any information about the land in Badagry right now, it's already computed, it's automated?
Yeah, it's computed. You just go to the portal and click in all the details. You get it.
All right. I'm sure we'll get more information that relates to this as the program moves on. But Dr. Babatunde, let's come to the big issue out there right now. Amnesty on planning permits for completed buildings. You heard my reporter there who just spoke with the people in Abule Egba, if they've heard of this. What do you make of their responses, by the way? Let's even start from there.
I am not surprised because you have a 50-50 equation here. So one person said he has a property, but he's not. He has an approval and is not aware of amnesty. You know, the other person also said he has an approval, and if there is a window, you know, for people to come in to have those documents granted to them, he thinks it's a welcome idea. So I think we're not surprised, and that is the reason why we're partnering with Traffic Radio. You know, we need to take this to the outside world. We need to let everybody know, not just people who live in Lagos alone, because it's not only people who live in Lagos that have property in Lagos. We want the news to go wide and far, so that people know that this is happening.
Which is very good. So, Honorable Commissioner, let's get back to that now. So, what's the real idea behind this initiative to bring this amnesty for completed buildings on planning permit?
Well, it's very, very important, and I hope I'll have enough time here. Now, it's very, very surprising because when we buy a phone today, you get the SIM card. You need to get it registered. If not, it will not work.
Right.
If you have a car and it doesn't have a vehicle license, you know you cannot drive it on the road. That's an offense. So, not to now talk of building. It's like a child is giving birth today. He has to be registered by way of birth certificate. So it's the same thing with the building. You need to have that building registered by government. That's the purpose. And we've noticed that over time, a lot of buildings have been developed without this planning approval. So that's why we are throwing out this window for people who already have their building completed. Please note, it's not for those that are developing now or those that are about to start. It's for people that have finished their building and probably they are living inside it. So we want them to come out, take advantage of this window and get their building approved. And the process is very simple. There are 57 local government and CDA in Lagos State. They just need to go to any one closest to them in their local government area, and they will get and the process is very simple.
Okay.
The requirement is as follows.
All right, we'll talk about the requirements even as the program moves on, Honorable Commissioner. But to my special advisor, why is the government I'm using the ministry as the reference point? Why is the government coming up with this initiative at this time?
Okay, thank you very much. Like Commissioner said, I hope you give me enough time. You know, it's alarming that in the land registry we have less than 500,000 properties registered in the land registry.
500,000?
Yes, 500,000.
That's abysmally low.
And in Lagos, we have over 5 million properties that we have seen. As Commissioner told you, we can see a lot of these things from the auto photo, from the capture that we have done. We've counted more than 5 million properties. So that means we have about 10% of those properties actually registered. That's one. Number two, even data from the land use charge shows us that we have only 804,000 bills that we are printing per year. That's out of about 5 million properties. Even when you compare that, the land use charge bills with the properties that are registered in the land registry, we already have a gap of 304,000. So the implication of this is that we have only, interestingly, people think that Mr. Governor does not look at or read all their messages. Someone, I will give you his name, sent a message to Mr. Governor that only 94% of the properties in Lagos do not have building permit, and they do not have land documentation. 94%. You see, that ties into what I've just described to you.
Right.
There's something from my own. I'm talking about 90%. The person said 94%. This is alarming. So what we are trying to do, is to make sure that people seize this opportunity, because the moment you go to physical planning, when commissioners start rolling out some criteria, you will see that you also have to go back to land as well.
Okay.
And if you are aware, the EGIS is across the MDAs, and I work particularly with the Office of Surveyor General, with the Lands Bureau. I mean, these are the two major, and the Ministry of Science and Tech. These are the three major MDAs that I work with.
Right.
For the completeness of record, we must capture everybody that holds anything or any property in Lagos. So we're starting this amnesty with the Ministry of Physical Planning.
Right.
The amnesty will sprawl into Lands Bureau because people will need to collect land documentation before they can come back to physical planning for approval.
All right. Let's talk about those that are affected by this amnesty. Or even though I know, Honorable Commissioner, you did mention it a while ago, but I just wanted to reiterate this for points of emphasis. So, who can benefit from this amnesty?
Thank you very much once again. Anybody that has a physical structure by way of a building, as the owner of that building, they have the right to benefit from this amnesty period as rolled out by our governor.
Okay. Anybody that has a completed structure.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter the year, if the building has been on for 20 years, 30 years,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Right. So let's just run through now. So what are the requirements for someone to benefit from this, Honorable Commissioner?
Okay, thank you very much. As rightly mentioned by the essay, the number one thing, the first thing there is the title document. You need to have the title document of that land, either an allocation, CFO, consent from wherever it's bought, a receipt, evidence that you are the true owner of that land. That's the starting point.
Okay.
Then the next one is the survey plan. You must have a survey plan produced by a registered surveyor from the state. Then the critical one, the architectural drawing. This architectural drawing is not, probably there are some people maybe they had a drawing and suddenly on their own they started building. But this one that should be as built. That is, as the building is existing, they need to get a consultant to give them that drawing as it is presently.
Right.
That's it for the architectural drawing. They also need to have the structural drawing, electrical drawing, and the mechanical drawing. Now, for the fact that the building is already existing, it's already standing, and probably it was not supervised when it was being constructed, so there will be need for a non-destructive test report, which is normally done by the building material test.
Okay.
So they need to get them to test that building that, okay, this building is very strong and can stand the state of sand. They also need to get a letter of structural stability from the engineer. I mean, just a matter of approaching any registered structural and civil engineer.
Right.
They will do them the structural and the structural integrity letter. Then they also need to have land use planning analysis report. That is for properties that are fairly bigger. This is not applicable to people with only 1 or 2 blocks, but people that have large expanse of structures,
Right.
is applicable to them. Then, of course, most important, they must show evidence of paying tax
Oh.
to Lagos State government, because they have benefits. For example, this window we are trained for them is a benefit to them. The houses they have, definitely there must be road leading to them. So the government has spent a lot of money in providing all those infrastructure. So they too must show evidence that, okay, I pay tax.
Right. Okay then. I'm sure it's a very, very long list indeed. Lagos Traffic Radio, 96.1 FM. This morning on Build Right, we are unveiling the Amnesty Initiative for planning permits in Lagos State. And my guests in the building who've been speaking so eloquently this morning, I have Dr. Oluyinka Abiodun Olumide, who is the Honorable Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development. I also have in the studios Dr. Olajide Abiodun Babatunde, who is the Special Advisor to the Governor on EGIS. That concept is very, very enterprising, really. EGIS is something that's going to bring a whole lot of revolution to Lagos. He's the Special Advisor to the Governor on EGIS and urban development. We're going to take a short break right now. When we return, it will be time to expand the discourse beyond the studios to have your input as well. If you want to ask them any question that relates to this amnesty, or perhaps you also want to look at anything in the physical and the urban space of Lagos, you can connect with us right now on 080-99-120-777 and 09153-877127. A brief break, we'll be back.
Dear Lagosians the vision of making Lagos a sustainable and resilient state through community regeneration and inclusive physical planning begins with building right. We all have a role to play in achieving this vision in line with the Lagos State Urban and Regional Plan and Development Law of 2019 as amended. Do you know that before buying a land or building on it, you must check for the permissible use from the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development? Do you know that you must obtain a planning permit and authorization to commence the construction of your building? Do you also know that you require state certification and certificate of completion for building construction in Lagos State? Estate developers must obtain layout approval before developing their estate and obtain full planning permit after the expiration of a provisional planning permit. Their Lagosians do not carry out unapproved renovation, remodeling or demolition. Do not break the seal on an enforced property. Do not obtain fake planning permits and do not abandon uncompleted buildings. Do not break the law. Build right in accordance with the state operative development plans. Let's work together to make Lagos a sustainable smart city of choice. For more information, download the Lagos State MPP UD app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, Àjùmọ̀ṣe Announcer, Lagos State Government.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Build Right is the program, and I have the Honorable Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development in Lagos, Dr. Oluyinka Olumide here. Same for the Special Advisor to the Governor on EGIS, and I'm talking about Dr. Olajide Babatunde. Let's expand the discourse to have your input as well. It's time to hear from you. 080-99120777 and 09153877127. Those are the numbers that you can connect with us. Also, you can put that on WhatsApp as well. Feel free to send in any of your concerns. Honorable Commissioner, any other benefits that one can derive from this amnesty?
Yeah, please, you don't need to give anybody any money.
You mean it?
You can do it yourselves. Once you get all those documents, approach any of the planning office nearest to you and submit. They will guide you on all the requirements. And once you've been assessed and you've been given the what to pay, for those that will pay within the first 10 working days, they will enjoy a 5% discount.
Okay. Within 10 working days?
Yes, within 10 working days. So if you are given an assessment and you are able to make that payment within 10 working days, you are due for a 5% discount on whatever is assessed.
All right. Lagos Traffic Radio. This one says, good morning, Lagos Traffic Radio. It's nice to hear the Honorable Commissioner and the Special Advisor on the program this morning. Please ask them, how much will it cost to get this plan? This is Afolabi from Ikeja sending this one in. So, is there any cost that's attached to it?
Well, there is no particular cost because it's subject to the volume of what you are presenting. Obviously, somebody presenting a bungalow cannot be expected to pay the same thing with somebody presenting a two-story building. So the assessment will be done based on the structure on ground.
All right. This one says, Victor, good morning. Please, can the Honorable Commissioner and the SA look into the time duration of the amnesty program? I think 90 days is not feasible owing to the ratio of registered buildings compared to the unregistered structures in Lagos. Who's sending this one? This is Zainab from Ikwaja. So 90 days, is that the duration?
Yeah, that is as approved by the governor. But you know that our governor is a listening governor. If the people want, they can always make an appeal. But the approval we got now is for 90 days. Yes.
All right, Dr. Babatunde, I thought you wanted to add to that as well.
No, I mean, Commissioner has said everything. It's 90 days. I mean, if there's anything that is going to be different, Commissioner said people should please write to our listening governor, and he will direct us accordingly.
Okay, so 90 days is the duration. But Honorable Commissioner mentioned a port period, let me just put it like that, an array of things that are required before one can benefit from this amnesty. Considering the time frame, would it be easy for people to go get all of these requirements that you mentioned earlier on? How easy is it going to look like? I mean,
since the building is existing, to generate as-built drawing for architectural drawings, within a matter of 3 to 4 days, you'll be on. So put together the consultants, I think under maximum 2 weeks, they should be able to get it done. So the building is already existing, so it's just a matter of taking the dimension and putting it down into drawing.
Right.
So 2 weeks should be enough for the consultants to generate those drawings.
Okay, so 2 weeks. Dr. Babatunde, you wanted to say something, right?
No, I mean, commissioner is the expert when you come to some of these things. But then, like the NDT, I know if you are sounding the building and doing seismic tests and integrity one day for bungalows, because most of these properties also, some they are bungalows or they're on one level, majority of them from what we have seen.
Okay, so it shouldn't take so long a time. Okay, so now this structure, it doesn't matter what kind of a structure it is. In Lagos, we have people that have built different kinds of buildings. Some, they say, face me here, I slap you. It doesn't matter what kind of a building it is, Honorable Commissioner?
This window is for existing building. However, if drawings are presented and there are some infractions there, they will of course be advised on what to do. And that's what we call condonation. I mean, now that it's already existing, if it doesn't fall in line with the approval content, then they will be advised on what to do to put it back in line with approval order.
All right. Okay, I have another message here. It says, good morning, Victor, and good morning to the guests. What's the process like in acquiring a building permit under the ministry's scheme? How do I go about it? This is Kenneth sending this one in from Igondo. Okay, so I think you mentioned that earlier on, but for the point of emphasis, maybe we can just need to reiterate that again. What's the process?
Okay, very simple. Approach your consultants, registered consultants, ensure that you have the title documents, and ensure also that you get a good and a survey from a registered surveyor.
Okay.
So the consultants will help you to generate all the drawings, and with that, you approach the planning office. Now, the integrity test, because the building is already existing, and the essence of this is to ensure that, to let you know that the building is actually fit for habitation. So when you approach the material testing laboratory, that may take about a week, because they'll come to site, do the site work, and go back to the office to do the analysis. That may take like 2 weeks. That's the only one that I think warrants a longer time. The other ones are things that can be gotten under a matter of 2 weeks.
All right. So this amendment, when is it commencing and when is it ending, Dr. Babatunde?
Well, I mean, it's within the purview of the commissioner, but it has already commenced.
Okay. This month of April?
Yeah, we have the advert.
No, the advert is out, but effectively it's from the 2nd of May. First, it will have been first, but we all know first is a public holiday. So from 2nd of May, just count 90 days. That's May, June, July. So 31st of July.
All right.
From 2nd of May to 31st of July. And if you submit and you are assessed and you're able to pay within 10 working days, you'll also enjoy 5% discount.
Oh, okay. All right. So that ways one can determine, because some people have built virtually everywhere. So there's some areas right now we still refer to as Lagos, even though we know it falls within the Ogun State boundary. Other ways people can really identify where my building falls within. Is that possible?
That's very, very possible. For us, we have the clear alignment of where is Lagos and where is Ogun State. So by the time they approach the planning office, they will be advised accordingly.
Okay, so planning office will be able to do that. Yes. All right, so for this amnesty, where do they go to? For someone who wants to enjoy this, if somebody who's listening to you right now and says, okay, good, I have a completed building, I do not have the planning permit, but I want to immediately commence, where will they go to?
There are, like I said, we have 57 LCDA in Lagos, and each of these LCDA has a planning approval office. And all you need to do is just to approach any of this office. If you're in doubt as to the office, you can go to your local government. From the local government, they will direct you to the planning office.
Okay, so local government, from there, you're able to have
local government secretariat, any of the local government secretariats in Lagos State. Right. They can approach any one of them and they will direct them to the right planning office.
All right, let's begin to take it home this morning to the amnesty program. The amnesty initiative for planning permits in Lagos has a lot of derivable benefits. But even as we run it off this morning on the program, Dr. Babatunde, in 30 seconds, what's the message, and just speak more on these benefits to our listeners?
Let me say it in another way. We need to all be patriotic, and we need to also hold ourselves accountable for whatever happens within the state of Lagos. Mr. Governor said something somewhere in Ijora, Emajeka saw Ikonu. So we must make sure that we adhere with the extant rules, the regulations, and all of that. And just permit me to say one thing, because I got a call yesterday from people who I think are patriotic. I'm only just meeting with the commissioner here because we're both rushing from our homes to come here. And I was going to tell him about two people, two brothers. Their dad was a former Deputy Inspector General of Police. They own a plot of land in Lagos, and within their estate, they are the only ones that have not built because they want to process
the right way
building approval.
Wow!
So they have now approached me, so that I can talk to the commissioner, who will then talk to LASPA, to try to address getting the approval. So they are within an entire estate that every single property in that estate has no approval.
Wow.
And I did promise that I will advise the commissioner that we should try and send officers to them, because it now becomes more cumbersome, because they bought this plot of land, site and services from somebody who has a global COO, and they now have individual structures, which the developer should have actually gotten an approval before he commenced construction.
All right, then.
I'm sorry, but I would like to say a very big thank you to Lai and Jide Boladuro for this information.
And for holding on to ensure that they get things the right way. All right, we have to round this up. Honorable Commissioner, 30 seconds. What's your parting thought to our listeners this morning?
Thank you very much. I want to enjoy my people to try and take advantage of this window, because after this, we are going to come out very strongly on buildings without approval. And there will be some serious consequences, because penalties and even demolition. So, like I said, it's effectively starting from 2nd of May. So they even have the advantage of now to that 2nd to do all the preparatory work, which is getting the drawings ready.
All right.
It's an opportunity for them, just like you would like to register your child as a way of birth certificate. The same thing we must do for our building as a way of building planning permits approval.
Okay, then. We'll leave it at that for now. And that's the Honorable Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Dr. Oluyinka Olumide. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Thank you very much.
And to Dr. Olajide Babatunde, who is the Special Advisor to the Governor on EGIS and Urban Development, I say a big thank you to you, sir.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure being here.
Okay, then. So we have to go on this first edition of Build Right. We have landed successfully, but I can tell you it's a program that makes a statement on how we can get the physical and urban space in Lagos adequately correct. The program has been produced by Mike James. I say a big thank you to Mukaila Sanusi, who's the Director of Public Affairs for the ministry. Same for Adetola Akintola, who's the Chief Public Affairs Officer with that particular ministry. Our social media team, we do appreciate you. Our executive producer is Tayo Akonle. My name is Victor Oteri. Have a splendid day. Bye.
Dear Lagosians, the vision of making Lagos a sustainable and resilient state through community regeneration and inclusive physical planning begins with building right. We all have a role to play in achieving this vision in line with the Lagos State Urban and Regional Plan and Development Law
Very good morning to you. Here is the news at 10. First, the highlights. Governor Sanwo-Olu describes Lateef Jakande's Leadership Academy as an opportunity to bring innovative strategies, solve global issues. Federal government partners military to protect forests, wildfire. On the foreign scene, European Union to tighten Iran sanctions after Israel attack. And in sport, Lagos State Sports Commission lauds athletes over tremendous achievements at 2024 All-African Games in Ghana. Now the details. I am Dele Agadumo. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has described the establishment of the Lateef Jakande Leadership Academy, LJLA, as an opportunity to bring out innovative strategies to solve challenges and global issues. Governor Sanwo-Olu stated this at the 2024 Lagos Leadership Summit organized by the Academy in Lekki with the theme Leadership in Nigeria's Future.
About the life we've impacted. It's about the life that we've impacted. It's about the changes that we've made. And for us as a government, we thought, how well can we honor a man? And for us in public sector to set up a team of new leaders that we also will donate and will outlive us. So we set up this school as an academy that has the first set of the ending, the first fellowship, which has been a one-year fellowship, 30 of them. And I'm
Executive Secretary Lateef Jakande Leadership Academy, Aishat Agbaje Okwade, said the program was put together to provide opportunity for youths to learn, advocate a better nation and shape the trajectory of leadership to strengthen Nigeria's future.
Leadership must transcend rhetoric and manifest tangible outcomes. We need leaders who inspire confidence in our young people, foster unity, and drive transformation. And that role can begin with whatever position you are in right now. We also believe in the power of one.
The lead speaker, Special Advisor to the President on Ease of Doing Business, Office of Vice President Jumoke Oduwole, who noted that leadership is established through a collaborative effort and responsibility, urged the youths to think of what they can do to make Nigeria great, as change starts with them. On their part, LJLA fellow debaters at the event advocated a technocratic system of government instead of the current democratic form to shape the future of the country. Panelists at the event, including the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, former Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Obafemi Hamzat, discussed various topics on leadership and community engagement, the Nigeria we want, youths in the driver's seat, fostering leadership capacities for effective governance, among others. Our correspondent Adiola Akindele quotes Governor Sanwo-Olu saying that the first set of 30 fellows of the academy will be going to India to understudy their progress as an economy before the final completion of their one-year stay in the academy in August, and as well announced the opening of online portal for new entrants. The Lagos State Safety Commission has sealed 2 lock-up shops on Modern Street off Broad Street due to safety violations. Director General of the Lagos State Safety Commission, Larry Mojala, said that the 2 lock-up shops were sealed following a petition from a concerned member of the public alleging that the shops violated safety rules and regulation. According to him, the Commission has a mandate to ensure the safety of lives and property in Lagos State. He added that the 2 shops were sealed in response to the petition received by the Commission from a concerned resident about a transformer located directly in front of the shops at number 148 Broad Street, Marina, Lagos. Mojala implored members of the public to support the government's zero-tolerance policy against violations of safety rules and regulation. The Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency has conducted a sensitization session on sexual and gender-based violence, SGBV, with members of the Community Development Council and the Community Development Association in Ifako-Ijayi, Itire-Ikati, Koka Aguda, and Surulere. DSVA's head of community engagement, Damilare Adewusi, at the gathering gave a comprehensive discourse on issues surrounding SGBV, legal frameworks and proper reporting procedures for the residents. Adewusi said the gathering will help to cultivate safer and more knowledgeable communities on sexual and gender-based violence. He urged all the participants to report incidents of SGBV and utilize the free and available support services that the state government is providing through the agency. Now to the rest of the stories. The Federal Ministry of Environment has partnered with the military in the protection and preservation of forest and wildfire in the country. Minister of Environment Balarabe Lawal said the partnership will foster the attainment of the country's environmental goals and climate action when the Chief of Defence Staff, Christopher Musa, paid him a working visit in Abuja. Lawal said there are more than 1,000 records between 2011 and 2020 that indicate Nigeria as a source, transit or destination country, or where the offender is a Nigerian national. The minister said a roadmap for the circular economy has been developed to guide Nigeria's transition